Hi, my name is Alyssa Lieberman, and today we're going to be talking about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis originates in the chloroplast, which has chlorophyll in them. This process is to harness energy from sunlight to turn it into chemical energy. It's used in plant cells to make food, and it's used to take energy from sunlight to turn water and carbon dioxide into energy-filled sugars called glucose. The chemical equation for photosynthesis is right up here, and it is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water, and the arrow signifies light energy turns into glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. Light energy is produced by the sun. It enters the chloroplast through the inner membrane and strikes the thylakoid. It's used in a light reaction. In photosystem 2, the energy from light reactions uses it to pull apart hydrogen and oxygen and breaks electrons off, and in photosystem 1, tired electrons are energized by light energy. Water, or H2O, comes from soil, roots, and the air, and it is brought to the thylakoid by diffusion. Then it gets separated by photosystem 2 into hydrogen and oxygen from light energy and put into the electron transport chain. Hydrogen is created from splitting ions, and it's in the electron transport chain during light reactions. When energized electrons flow down the electron transport chain, energy is released that is used to pump hydrogen ions into the thylakoid. The high concentration of hydrogen ions inside the thylakoid powers ATP synthase, which produces ATPs. O2, or oxygen, is created in photosystem 2 on an electron transport chain when water is separated into oxygen and hydrogen. It's located on a thylakoid during light reactions. In the order for oxygen to be created, electrons must be stripped from water as a byproduct. Any oxygen that remains diffuses out of the cell through the pores. As an end result, it is a waste product from breaking apart that allows us to breathe. ATP originates in the chloroplast. It is the product of the first stage of photosynthesis. The role of ATP is to provide the energy needed for carbohydrates in the Calvin cycle. It is used to put energy into glucose, combined CO2 in photosynthesis. ATP breaks down glucose and oxygen to make energy. ATP provides energy for the development of phosphoglycerate molecules and the conversion of those molecules into organic compounds. The light of the light reaction is absorbed, and the energy is used to drive electrons to generate NADPH through membrane and then return to the ATP synthase to make ATP. NADPH is created and constructed during a light reaction in the thylakoid. It goes to the electron transport chain where its electrons power the production of sugar along with ATP in the Calvin cycle. Carbon dioxide comes from outside the chloroplast and is brought in through diffusion. It is used in the stroma and constructs glucose in the Calvin cycle. Glucose is a product of the Calvin cycle in photosynthesis, which is in the stroma of the chloroplast. Glucose is made from a combination of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. After glucose is created inside of the chloroplast, it exits the chloroplast to be used as a nutrient source for plants. ADP, in the process of ADP being formed, is released, which plants use for the cellular process. ADP ATP is re-energized during photosynthesis as the phosphate groups are reattached and it goes back to ATP. It does this through the process called photophosphorylation, which is when it uses light energy from photosynthesis to provide energy to convert ADP to ATP. It is used in the chloroplast. The ATP goes to the Calvin cycle, where it is turned into glucose. NAD+ originates in the stroma, and it takes electrons from photosystem 1 during the light reactions and the end of the transport chain. NADP+, the molecule that accepts the electrons given by water, it is essentially an energy transfer because of the high energy electrons from chlorophyll to other molecules.